Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J DAWG.
Mike, it's good to see you. I didn't know if I was doing this show solo. Your wife is about to give birth any hour, any minute now, but here you are.
Told you we're not missing any show unless it happens on the day. We'll record in the hospital.
Surprised me.
I don't know if she's okay with that, but we're continuing. It's draft week. We're all excited. A lot of rumors are coming out. I know you got a whole draft maybe mock board that we can review and kind of see. I hope there's some trades in there because I'm seeing a lot of stuff online. A lot of big trades.
We have trades, Mike. We have trades, and Bill Belichick, he's doing the big draft night thing with Pat McAfee.
Oh, I didn't know
we
that.
Said, hey, why don't we get J DAWG out? Equal stature, equal football knowledge. Run through the mocks. So I'll get to get in front of Bill, share my expertise before we hear from him later in the week.
It does look like Bill's having a little more fun. That he's not a coach anymore. He has a personality when he's on the Pat McAfee show or wherever else. He seems great. He seems like he's having a good time.
I mean, it's a very low bar. If he smiles, we can say he has personality,
yes.
right? It doesn't take much for Bill. I liked how he had a shot. We try to craft our backgrounds here. You have Wayne Gretzky, the great one, and yours. He showed up to McAfee with 6 Super Bowl trophies behind him. So
good.
At least that's a little personality for Bill.
You got a trophy back there, too. You got a Sports Hangover
10-year anniversary. We have our 20th anniversary coming. I expect another trophy on the way.
It's got to be bigger. 20 years on the podcast,
man.
It's got to be big, for sure.
That's gonna be huge. Before we get to the mock draft, which I'm excited to share, NBA playoffs are ongoing. NHL playoffs. Have you been watching? Have you been betting? Anything stand out from the weekend?
I've been betting. I've been watching. Lightning don't look good. Might lose to the Panthers. Maybe get swept. They didn't look very good. They didn't have a shot the first 18 minutes of the first period. Really enjoying the Carolina.
How about that? A Florida matchup. Panthers Lightning.
Yeah.
You don't see that all the time.
Yeah, though I think they had it last year, too. The Battle of Florida.
2 years in a row.
Yeah. Also, I'm enjoying the Hurricanes and Islanders matchup. I have not watched a lot of those teams, and they're fun, fast, fun. It's been good, and a lot of NBA as well. So, a lot of stuff to watch.
I've heard Winnipeg, Mike. Winnipeg Jets, their barn, their arena, only has 14,000 seats in it, which is crazy for playoff games. I feel like they're a very intimate setting. We've been talking about going to Sacramento to watch the baseball team when they're there in a small stadium. It sounds like that's already happening in Winnipeg, who had their first game of the year televised by ESPN last night. It was on ESPN2, apparently. I didn't realize they went all year without getting any TV time. Like, Americans don't want to see Winnipeg.
Well, Winnipeg is not honestly, if you took out a map right now, I have an idea where it is, but I don't think you could pinpoint.
Western half, right?
Yeah, definitely Western, but I don't think you could pinpoint where Winnipeg is.
Oh, no. I got Vancouver, I got Toronto, and nothing in between.
That is it. Yeah. So it's but it's nice. The Canadian teams never get a shot. I feel like the last few years they haven't been good enough to be in the playoffs. So a lot of Canadian teams are presenting this year. We'll see how far they go. I'm excited. I love what YouTube is now allowing me to do is have NBA, NHL split screen. Shout out to YouTube TV.
YouTube TV specifically. It's so good.
So good. It's great. It's just so
best.
I need a 4-box. I would love a 4-box and have that secondary feed of other people talking about it to kind of hear what's going on. How a Peyton Manning cast along with the regular broadcast. That's what I would like with NHL or NBA.
I don't know. Kevin Hart's been doing those NBA unplugs. I haven't tuned into one. I don't like Kevin Hart that much. Sorry.
I haven't seen it. If it's not on my quad box option, it's not. I'm unaware.
So we'll see what the weeknight brings because we do have basketball and hockey all the nights this week, 2 games going on of each sport. So there will be 4 games. Will YouTube TV offer us 2 and 2 tonight? We'll see.
Are they all playing at the same time? Because I know it's ESPN and TNT or time whatever. Warner Brothers, whoever. Who owns
maybe it's
HBO?
tomorrow night. There's 2 Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, there's 2 hockey games at 7 Eastern tomorrow. 2 NBA games at 7 Eastern. So maybe tomorrow night.
That'd be nice.
YouTube will grant us this. By the way, shout out to our Canadian listener who I know is listening. Sorry I made fun of Winnipeg and Canadian geography, but that's the reality of it.
That's it. Also, Calgary, that's somewhere out there too. I don't know.
But I can't tell you where it is.
No, of course. But I wonder if our Canadian friend could actually point it out because he hasn't lived in Canada. He lives in America most of his life. So
he's very Americanized now. There's not much left. Only the hockey DNA in him. But enough on that guy who also has a baby coming. By the way, wow,
he does.
Double dad alert.
A lot of babies. Listener. So who knows?
I was watching a little NBA. No surprise, Lakers made it out of their little play-in bullshit early last week. Not sure what all that was about with 9 and 10 seeds. I think we can just go back to 8 at this point. I know the Lakers got in, but let's go back to 8. The Warriors were embarrassing last week. All that stuff. The Kings weren't very good. But the Lakers got in, but now they had that scenario with the Nuggets. They kept it close for the first 3 quarters. Nuggets pull away on Saturday. The Nuggets will destroy the Lakers in this series. I don't expect the Lakers to win a game. And then it's what's next? What's next for the Lakers? What's next for LeBron? That discussion can probably start now.
Oh, you want to start right now? Does he? Because this is his option year, right? He could leave if he wanted to.
Yeah, and I've got him testing the market. I've got him looking around and saying, I know he's close with Jeannie, and we've talked about this. I know him and Jeannie are just possibly too close. Too close.
Maybe a little too close.
But we know he might be testing the market because he might want to play on a team that can actually make it to the NBA Finals again before he hangs it up. Because this version of the Lakers doesn't look anywhere close to that.
Can I tell you something about Jeannie that I learned? I was listening to a podcast, and her boyfriend or something was on it. I forgot who it was. It was a comic. We all know this comic, but I'm forgetting his name. Dating Jeannie. I don't know if you want to look up his name. They don't live together, but they're dating. But she owns one floor and he lives on the bottom floor of like another unit, like a separate condo altogether.
That is so healthy. I so enjoy when I hear couples saying that they live somewhat separately. Like maybe you're not in the same bed. That's like one version of it. But I love the idea of people living actually separately. And that's no surprise coming from me, a relationship expert. But yes. I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
Well, I don't know. So the guy is Jay Moore. I think you know Jay Moore, right?
Jay Moore, who back in the day had a Fox show. He got very large recently.
Yeah, I think he stopped doing drugs. I think he's sober now. So I think that's what happens.
That made him look worse?
Well, I think when you stop doing some lines and some, all this stuff that keeps you going a little bit, and then you stop it, I think it also stops, like, you blow up because you can't eat.
The aging process just accelerates at that
It's
point.
like Ozempic, right? You stop Ozempic, you blow up again. So
it comes back twice as much.
So dating J Mo. I don't know. It sounds weird to me. I know people are like, oh, we sleep in separate beds or do this. I don't know anybody personally that does it, but it sounds okay. But it sounds like at that point you have a roommate. Like you're not dating that person. Like
sounds great.
Jeremy, even me and you have slept in a bed together. So
we have. I shut you down more recently, mid-30s in Vegas. That's a story that we probably told on the show.
Yes. All right, let's get into you want to get into NFL?
Mock draft. Let's do it. Do you have a bumper for me?
I don't have no bumpers here. I have this.
What you say?
That's it. That's all I got.
That works. A shout out to that voiceover artist from 12 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, it's my favorite week of the year. Not really, but close. It's the NFL mock draft season. The draft is Thursday night, of course. It runs all weekend into Saturday. The draft takes on a little different turn this year because of NIL. Apparently, we have a lot of great prospects at the top of the draft, but it's not as deep as usual because all those mid-tier guys stayed in college to keep getting the bag instead of going to be a 6th, 7th undrafted free agent type of guy. So the later rounds are not worth watching, but I think what we should do is do a little exercise. I have a mock draft of the first 12 picks, including a trade. I'll say one trade in the top 12. I've got quarterbacks flying off the board, and then I'll just go pick by pick, and you kind of react to each one. Tell me if this is a good deal, bad deal, or not. So starting at the top, no surprise. I wish I could spice it up, but it's Caleb Williams at number 1. There's no intrigue here. We know that Gen Z's first alpha quarterback is going to be on the Bears. What do you think about this little marriage that's about to happen?
The more I see interviews of him, the less I like him because he's way too cocky, and I do not like somebody that cocky going in. I want somebody humble, somebody that's like will be great and has the greatness in him, kind of like a Tom Brady. Like he never just went out and said, I'm the greatest pre-draft. I want you to go out there and prove it. It is a different league, and I want to see what can happen, and he's a little too cocky. And that means you're going to have a big downfall. I would say shut your mouth and go into the game and play as hard as you can. And then once you achieve some greatness, you can talk about it a little bit. But it worries me that he's a little too hyped up on his greatness before he gets in.
Maybe all that needs to happen for him to not be so hyped up on confidence is get to Chicago and look around Soldier Field and say, damn, no one's won here in a long time, and they're asking me to do it. Like, that could be one way to humble his ass very quickly, because you're right. He's coming in very confident. I think you want a quarterback who's confident. I think all these guys at the top are somewhat confident. You're saying it might be too much. Maybe that gets regulated before August, September when he takes the field. But this man will be the Bears starting quarterback this year. They pick again at number 9, so we do have a second pick for them coming to see who he gets to team up with.
And I mean, so I have some news here, but I mean, it's from our boy AB. He has his CTE ESPN.
Yeah, of course.
He says, now I don't know if this is real, but he says there's going to be a massive, massive trade, Justin Herbert to Minnesota and Minnesota will give them some first-round picks for Justin Herbert because it sounds like Chargers want to move up in the draft. I don't know if that's on your draft board.
Well, Mike, this is a rumor, a scandal city that I gave you. I don't know if Antonio Brown is reading TSH, is TSH reading CTESPN. It's hard to tell who's first, who's more on top of things, us or him.
Yeah.
Might. I think I love that because I've told you before, Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh coached J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, won a national championship with them, just got a tattoo, a 15-0 tattoo on Jim Harbaugh's arm of the 15-0 season. As he's left, though. He's not with Michigan anymore. He doesn't need...
I know, but it's like an achievement, and you're like putting it on you. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. And he's living in an RV.
Right, so he is living in an RV in Huntington Beach with his offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, also in the RV. I was thinking, Mike, maybe a little TSH field trip to go see those guys out there.
We could go there. Are you sure he's in Huntington? I thought he was in like Playa area by that beach. There's an RV park right by the airport.
I saw Huntington. He's not an airport RV guy, right? He's a little more
closer to the stadium if he was over in that area.
I think the Chargers' offices are way out by Huntington.
Oh, all right. Well,
their facility.
We could always check
because only SoFi is for game days. We're gonna look into this. This is what we.
Yeah. We're gonna go out to the beach.
But that idea, anyway, so he won this national championship with McCarthy. McCarthy could be drafted high. Justin Herbert is the Chargers quarterback, but Harbaugh's inheriting him. He's not married to him like he might be with McCarthy. And so the idea here is that the Chargers might want to reset their salary cap with a guy they know they can win a championship with at quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, much cheaper for years. And then Herbert goes to Minnesota, where he's paired with Justin Jefferson and instantly becomes one of the best offenses in the NFL, because otherwise Minnesota's going to add a rookie quarterback. Stay tuned to my mock draft. What is Justin Jefferson going to think of that if this trade doesn't happen and they're forced to go with a rookie?
I think if this trade happens, I think it's crazy because Justin Herbert is we would say a good quarterback. He's not. It's
debatable though. Some people think Tua is better.
I haven't heard that debate at all. Maybe just in your circles.
Maybe me, yeah.
I think Herbert is a good quarterback. It would be like, you're blowing this up, and Herbert is going to thrive in Minnesota. He's got a receiver. He could play well out there. It's pretty tough over there on the West. If I was Herbert, I'd want this trade to happen. But if I'm a Chargers fan, I don't want this to happen. You are starting back at zero. You got no wide receivers. You got no quarterback. And Harbaugh's coming in and saying, let's get our boy JJ. Let's get him out here. I hope it doesn't happen for Chargers fans, but I think I would like it to happen for Herbert because I think he'd do better out there.
You talk about being too confident. This would be Jim Harbaugh being too confident in J.J. McCarthy. It'd be like, nah, I can win in the NFL with this little Michigan guy who's never thrown an NFL pass instead of Justin Herbert, who has a cannon. But again, Justin Herbert has no playoff wins. He has the big stats. He doesn't have the best record, and so the jury is out on him. I love the idea of the trade, but if Antonio Brown is saying it's going to happen, it's probably not.
Honestly, he's been right most of the time he's tweeted out these things, so... do you want me to read the tweet?
If he's right, Mike, that means I was right 2 months ago. Just as we connect the dots, just make sure we're on the same page.
You are Sportstradamus, the first ever Sportstradamus. Now, AB, he has his psychic powers. He might tune into you and
we
take
both have
those.
third eyes.
This is kind of crazy, but I was listening to Joe Rogan talk to, what's his name? And they were talking about like psychic abilities and never mind. Just listen to the most recent Joe Rogan podcast. It's kind of crazy. Let me read the tweet from AB. This is what he said. Breaking news from CTESPN. And he said, you heard it first. This is real. AB, following up on my last text, my source in Minnesota is saying there's some trouble with Herbert's physical based around his open reduction surgery on his right index finger. My sources say there's still some questions about his readiness for OTAs. If he's confirmed as this resolved, the projected trade package includes both of Minnesota's first-round picks this year, Christian Dawsaw, I don't know who that is, and also a conditional second-round pick in 2025. It's a lot.
He's got a lot of facts, a lot of details here if it happens. I think he's going down a good road. It would just be crazy for Harbaugh to actually do it, and I don't think it will happen. But it's exciting and scandalous. Number 2 in our mock draft, the Commanders. I want to spice it up, but I can't. It's Jaden Daniels and his weird-looking throwing elbow. We saw that come out recently. Apparently, the Commanders are not afraid of it, even though the Commanders have not had a one-on-one meeting with any of these quarterbacks. They brought them all in together. The top 4 quarterbacks, McCarthy, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Daniels. They went to Topgolf, the 4 of them, and did a competition between the 4 of them. And apparently, J.J. McCarthy was the best golfer. Drake May was second. So they're like pitting them against each other already instead of like individual meetings. It's a little different.
Does it make sense for a lot of these guys just to sell this pick and go somewhere and like get a guy in the later rounds? Because it seems like there's a few quarterbacks later in the first round that maybe they could get, but like we're gonna say these top 4 quarterbacks that are in the first, they'll go in the first 5 picks.
Yeah,
one of them will be good, right?
1 to 2. 1 to 2.
Now, good in like what way? Are we saying like a Patrick Mahomes? Or are we saying like a Trevor Lawrence?
None of them will be like that. None of them will be even like Josh Allen. But like if one is like current version Baker Mayfield, not the Browns version, but modern version, that's good, right? That's good.
Oh, you mean the current, not
the Browns version that was drafted and they gave up on. This version of Baker, the one that just got what, 100 million or so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard.
Sure, like, Drake May could be this Baker. That's not the craziest thing to say.
But does Drake May or whoever goes in this slot, is he going to change the franchise enough? Would it be more beneficial for you to get like, I don't know, a later round pick, a few picks off of this and try to rebuild because they have nothing there? I don't know. A lot of these teams could use a rebuild, and I don't know if these guys are the quarterback that changes their franchise.
It depends on the team. I don't think the Commanders are in the worst place here. They had Sam Howell. They were kind of treading water at 8-8 and 7-9 for a while. They're not like the Bears and the Patriots, who I feel like do need to blow it up and start over. I think the Commanders should sit here, take Daniels, who is prolific in the SEC, a great football conference, and take on the rest of the NFC East because there's not a lot of good quarterbacks outside of Jalen Hurts in that division.
So I'm looking at CBS Sports mock draft round 1, and they have Drake May going number 2 to Washington.
Well, it's wrong. That's a wrong pick, Mike. Actually, CBS is wrong. I'm hearing on good authority that they're taking Daniels. Okay. And Drake May, I know the odds have been shifting toward Drake May more recently. Don't spend your money on that. Daniels is going to Washington, and you have my word on that.
Is there a place or a spot in this that somebody trades up to get the first round pick?
Yes, I do have a trade coming. Let me get there. At number 4, I have a trade. At number 3, the Patriots are considering a trade. I was texting with an NFL insider earlier today, Mike. Okay. I really was. And I'm hearing 75%, Adam.
Oh, okay. All right.
75% chance that the Patriots actually keep this pick, 25% chance they trade it. So a lot of people say, okay, Caleb 1, Daniels 2. It's obviously Drake May going at 3. You're wrong. I broke this story last week. It's the Michigan man. J McCarthy is going to go number 3 to the Patriots. The reason they're so open to a trade is they might be able to get him later. That's the only reason it's not a 100% chance they're going to stay in this pick. So if they're shopping trade, they're okay with JJ. I think they don't get the offer they want to move out, and they take JJ McCarthy, the Michigan man, at number 3 to follow in Tom Brady's footsteps, to go Michigan legend to Mac Jones blemish to Michigan legend, and just forget that Mac Jones era as quickly as they can.
I guess I like it. It's just it just bothers me because we know all these quarterbacks won't be good. So it's at some point you just got to be like, if he doesn't show everything we need, get somebody in the later round. So I don't know if I love it, but if everybody seems to love J.J. McCarthy all of a sudden. Like there's so much.
And I don't know why. Yes, he won a national championship in college. We saw many small quarterbacks win national championships in college and not make it in the NFL. So why do people love him? I don't know. Is it his new Aloe endorsement deal? I know that runs close to your family. Yeah. Is it that he meditates on the field before every game? I know that runs close to you too. Honestly, maybe you should be a J.J. McCarthy fan. The way he prioritizes his self-care as a quarterback. It's all very unique, very different at that level. I don't think he'll be good in the NFL, so I'm happy with the Patriots taking him at number 3.
All right.
Mike, we have our first trade at number 4. A trade just came in. This is a mock draft, not real. The Minnesota Vikings, who we've been talking about, they have 2 first-round picks at 11 and 23. They're moving up. They're sending both those picks up with the Cardinals to number 4, and they take Drake May right here. So 4 quarterbacks in the first 4 picks, and the Cardinals jump out of the top 5.
So Cardinals are out of the top 5.
And the Vikings are taking Drake May here. And this goes back to the point we were just saying, I don't think Justin Jefferson's going to be happy with a rookie quarterback who needs more time to develop here in Minnesota. But the Vikings also need a guy because Sam Darnold's the guy if they don't draft a guy.
It makes me kind of like, maybe the trade for Herbert is a kind of a good thing. Maybe make it go through. Yeah. Kind of back to that.
I mean, we like it for the Vikings. The Chargers probably wouldn't trade Herbert, is what we're saying.
Well, if you get a lot of first-round picks for it, I feel like it'd be kind of worth it if you're rebuilding, which it seems like
the thing, just to back up on that trade, is the Chargers have the number 5 pick. They don't have to give that up in a trade for Justin Herbert. They could just get more picks, right?
By they could just
so they can take McCarthy at 5 and then still have a bunch more picks later and potentially reload in record time.
But I think that's why if they trade Herbert, they can then bundle a few picks together to be like, oh, I'll move up to 3, which sounds crazy.
But they don't need to, right? If they're number 5, maybe they get McCarthy right at 5.
It seems like he's going up pretty high. His stock value is going up. So, I mean,
it does.
yeah. But
let's get to the Chargers here. Number 5 overall. Will they trade out? Maybe, but I'm going to say no on this one. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. I also told you last week they lost Mike Williams. They lost Keenan Allen. They have not replaced them in free agency. No. We don't know what's going on at the skill position. This team needs a number 1 receiver badly. And if they're going to pick in the first round, there's 3 good receivers available. We're going to touch on all of them in this mock. The Chargers need to grab one of them.
I agree. I like Marvin. I think he's great. I think if there was not so many teams that needed quarterbacks, he would go first overall.
I think you're right about that. People love him.
Yeah.
Let's get to another receiver at number 6. The Giants are shopping at quarterback. I just want to lay that out there. They are shopping the quarterback aisle. Daniel Jones is terrible. Daniel Jones is on a bad contract. Daniel Jones has eyes that are a little crazy. Did you see this last week in his press conference? Daniel Jones did one of those press conferences. It's always a New York thing. Remember Adam Gase, the head coach, the wandering eyes?
Yeah.
Daniel Jones has wandering eyes now, and he had a terrible press conference last week. He seems unwell, physically, mentally, deranged. Something's going on. They might go quarterback. I'm saying they're going receiver. Malik Neighbors from LSU. There's 3 elite receivers in this draft. You might not know Malik Neighbors, but you're going to know him very soon for fantasy football. He will be a stud in the NFL.
Now, with the current quarterback or a new quarterback?
Probably next year when they have another first-round pick at quarterback. Yeah.
Well, they have 2 quarterbacks now, right? So they have.
What does that mean? If you have 2, you have none?
I guess that's what Seahawks had last year too.
Who's the other one?
What's the Seahawks? The backup. I can't even think of his name.
Drew
right
Lock.
Now.
That's
Drew Lock.
That's not one.
I know. Well, he's there. He's a backup.
Our first non-quarterback, non-receiver pick is at number 7, the Titans. They're a boring franchise, and they stay boring with an offensive tackle. Joe Alt from Notre Dame. It's not sexy, but they need it as they rebuild. I don't like what their offseason has looked like. Nope. They got a lot worse. I think they'll be bad next year, so maybe offensive tackle this year, quarterback next year when they pick like first or second.
I like that. That makes sense to me. I like that. But that's definitely a boring pick, but keep going.
Let's bore you one more time before it gets good again. The Falcons are going to take so the Falcons are interesting. They've taken either a receiver or a tight end in the first round or running back last 3 years. It was Bijan, it was Pitts, it was the receiver Drake London. And like there's good receivers here. Like they could literally do it again with Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors. And Kirk Cousins is there. He could probably use one of those guys. But at the same time, how can you go 4 years in a row, 8th overall pick, you have another skill position player, and your offense is still like average? Like that's not okay at the end of the day. Good. So I think finally Raheem Morris is there. They actually go defense here.
Okay.
What counts in the NFL? It's quarterbacks and quarterbacks getting hit. And so if you're not going to take a quarterback, they have Kirk Cousins. Get an edge rusher, Dallas Turner from Alabama, one of the best sack masters in the draft. The Falcons need the defense. I think Raheem will love to have him.
Is that a stretch here? Because look, I'm just basing it off this mock off CBS. Yeah. I know they're wrong. I know they're totally wrong. But it is he's going 12 here on their mock draft, and you're putting him at 7.
I got him at 8. I got him at 8 here with the Falcons. Yeah,
seems a little early, but listen.
I don't know who you're listening to, that or me or CBS right now.
I'm listening to you. I trust you, but I don't know. If I was a betting man, I don't know if that he seems a little out of. I'd probably trade out of that slot then.
Do you think the Falcons will take a skill position player? Is that what you're saying? They're going to do it again?
Yeah, because you're like a new coach. You come in, you want some flashy items to go along with.
They could take a receiver. I mean, they could.
Also, they might lose their draft pick because of tampering with Minnesota and Atlanta. So
I don't think they'll lose that first round pick. They will lose a later one, which is like, you got Kirk Cousins, the Coles quarterback. You don't need to tamper for him. You're already going to pay him so much. It's like you're either going to get him or you're not. You don't have to tamper for him.
I don't even know what it means. Like, did you text Kirk Cousins and be like, hey, what are you thinking? Are you coming to us? Like, is that what it is? Because the first day of the trade deadline, everybody was moving to different teams. So clearly everybody was tampering.
It's true. And they have like a legal tampering. The NFL makes it complicated. So I don't know.
I don't like it.
Sure, we can punish the Falcons.
Sure.
Number 9 overall. This is a spot getting a lot of trade action because it's the Bears. And they just added Caleb Williams. So they have options. Do they go defensive player? Do they go receiver to pair with Caleb Williams, even though they just added Keenan Allen and they already have DJ Moore? I think the receivers are okay. Or do they trade out? I say they do none of those things. And if you're going to make an investment, Mike, a big investment, say you just put a bunch of money in the bank, you want to protect this investment.
Yeah.
with an offensive lineman, it could go any direction you want, but I'm going Taliez Fuaga from Oregon State to protect Caleb Williams, another Pac-12 boy to help the USC
Okay, all right. He's projected 13 on CBS list. So.
Okay, jumping again.
Okay, little high. So you wouldn't go this Romeo Dunes guy?
That receiver's really good. They have Keenan Allen. They have DJ Moore. Okay. They don't need Roma Dunes. So he's about to go, but not yet.
Okay, all right. So is he going next?
The Jets pick at number 10. With just a few more picks in our mock draft here. Aaron Rodgers is healthy, apparently. We'll see if he actually plays. He's not running for VP, maybe Secretary of State if RFK.
He's getting crazier.
I'm sure there's a position.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somewhere. somewhere for sure.
Because I know you have RFK winning the election.
Yeah, he's going to win, yeah.
And the Jets could help Aaron Rodgers for once with a lineman, but they're too stupid to protect him. They could help him with Roma Dunze, but they did that recently with Garrett Wilson in the first round. So I'm saying they're taking a tight end. Brock Bowers from Georgia, a pass catcher, but not the one you're thinking of. For me, Mike, tight end at 10, too early. Take an impact position like receiver, offensive line, edge, maybe even quarterback of the future, but no. The Jets say, we want to win now. They're going Brock Bowers, a white boy tight end from Georgia.
Is he good? Do you know anything about him?
I mean, he's pretty good in college, but again, these tight ends, Sam Laporta has been great with the Lions. Travis Kelce's been great. You can't name a lot of first-round tight ends that have been great, though.
No. I will say I like the move. Zach Wilson is now a Bronco. Traded today to the Broncos. I think it's a great move. I had in Sports Dramas, I thought Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, they're going to thrive in their new locations. And I think Zach's
But we didn't think it'd be in the NFL.
I did think it was going to be in the NFL.
I thought it was going to be the USFL, Memphis Showboats.
No. I think he's going to do great in Bronco country.
Great? Start?
They have no one else, right?
Well, stick around for the 12th pick in the mock draft.
All right. Who you got?
Good setup. We're almost done, Mike. We're almost done.
Okay.
11. You could go 32 picks if you want.
Let's not do 32.
The Cardinals have traded to 11. They were 4th, and they might take Marvin Harrison if they stay there. If they go down to 11, they still need a receiver. We covered this last week, too. Hollywood Brown left. Kyler Murray's there. You can't name a receiver on the roster. So this is where Rome Odunze goes. He's a bigger body, maybe more of like a Julio Jones, A.J. Green type, more physical, ball control, great red zone target. Kyler Murray will need that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that franchise. I feel like nothing's really – I haven't seen much out of it because Kyler was hurt.
Well, if they do this trade to go from 4 to 11, pick up 2 first-round picks, there's something for you, right?
Yeah. I like that. I want some trades. I think the most exciting things are the trades in the first round. So hopefully some good trades are happening.
A video leaked today, by the way, speaking of trades in the Cardinals, or maybe it was released on purpose, of the Cardinals GM making all the trades last year during the draft. And he's on the cell phone with the Texans making all the trades. That's fun. Available. So you don't normally see that stuff.
Because do you feel them out, or do you just call and be like, look, we got this?
They had a pre-feel out, but they wanted to wait until they were on the clock to make sure the player was there. And so they had to work it all out as the clock was ticking with 10 minutes.
I wonder if you mess with the teams and feel out trades that you're never going to do to kind of scare them or make them think that they're going to be able to get their player at the certain position. Because it could be a mind game, right? GM calls this other GM, be like, hey, we're trying to trade up to 3rd to get this guy. And maybe they didn't even think about drafting that guy. Maybe it's like, oh, we never thought about Drake May or JJ McCarthy. And now all of a sudden
I love that idea as a one-off. But then what if you really want to make a trade with that person the second time around? They're like, no, you lied to me last time and we're not doing business
Well, not
anymore.
about lying, but it's like, hey, we're thinking about trading up here. We really like this guy. Are you interested if he doesn't, whatever? They could work out. I feel like I'd be a great GM. It'd be a lot of fun on trade day.
We should watch Draft Day this week in preparation for that Kevin Costner movie.
I heard it was terrible. I don't want to watch it.
Okay. My last pick of the mock draft. We're not going all 32. Mike won't let me, but we'll go with number 12, the Broncos. You mentioned maybe Zach Wilson, maybe Jared Stidham, maybe Bo Nix, the most accurate quarterback in college football this year. Reminds me a lot of Drew Brees. Why? They're both very accurate, and they're both very short. And Sean Payton loves a short, accurate quarterback, and that's why I'm connecting the dots on Bo Nix. Exactly. Bo Nix to the Broncos joined the short white QB room that they're building, assembling there. Ben DiNucci's there. There's no way that man is tall. That is a short quarterback, I'm just assuming.
A lot of short guys.
So the Broncos are assembling mid quarterbacks here to try to compete. I don't know what the strategy is because they're not going to win with Wilson or Nix.
What are we considering short? I know Russell Wilson was he just 6 foot or is he 6'1"?
He's probably 6'1". I'd say, what are you, 6'2"?
I'm 6'1".
6'1". I think shorter than you is short. Maybe equal and shorter.
Because I feel like in the NBA, there are guys that are 6 foot, and they're definitely short, and they look short.
Yeah.
They look very, very small.
Well, they look short in comparison to the other guys.
Yeah, but also, like, if you're 6 foot, like, I'm 215 pounds right now, but if you put a lineman out there that's almost
you didn't have to say it to everyone on the show.
I'm big. I'm a big guy. But if you put me out there with a 400-pound lineman coming after me, I'm going to look a little too. Right?
It's true.
I don't know what the size, like, how tall is Kyler Murray? I think Kyler Murray's like 5'8".
Little. He's 5'11". He's 5'10".
Hold on, I'm going to look up.
He's not 6 foot. He's definitely not 6 foot.
Zach Wilson, what is his height?
Zach Wilson's probably taller than you think, I would guess. 6'2" to 6'3".
Hold on, I'm looking it up. And then I'm going to look up Kyler Murray.
This is good radio. Looking up,
Zach Wilson's 6'2".
So that's pretty tall. Russell Wilson was 5'11", so you're onto something there.
What, Bo Nix? Is that who they're going to get? 6'2".
He's got to be short. No.
6'2".
Still, he's so much taller than Drew Brees. He's got 3 inches on Brees. So this man will be hovering over the pocket and the offensive line when Brees always had those passes batted down. This makes perfect sense for Sean Payton.
Hold on. I'm looking up shortest NFL QB. Current. I need to put current.
Kyler Murray's got to be short. He just looks small and shifty.
Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he 5'10"?
But also Bryce Young, which we forgot about. Was also pretty short.
Well, he's easy to forget about because he's terrible.
He's not going to be a quarterback.
Hey, where are the Carolina Panthers in my mock draft? Oh, wait, they traded their pick last year so they could trade up for Bryce Young? What the hell?
They're
the Panthers
so bad.
Could probably use some of those players we just talked about.
All right, well, I'm excited for the draft. Maybe we'll tweet. Maybe get on old TSH Twitter or X or whatever and tweet a little.
You're going to hate this. I have a business event during the draft this year because it starts at 5:00 in LA. It starts so early out here.
I don't like it. You're gonna miss it.
I'm not happy about it myself.
I have 2 other things if you want to touch on them real quick. Not about the draft, but I do have Caitlin Clark. We talked about her last week. The NBA, WNBA women's draft happened last week, I think right after our show.
Yeah.
She got a Nike shoe deal worth $28 million, so she's getting some bank. I think I saw.
Thank God, because she was being paid like an intern by the WNBA on her salary, so she deserves this Nike contract.
But it seems like they can get some deals, so I'm glad she got that. And there are no like Nike women's basketball shoes, so I kind of like that idea. And I think I saw a mock-up. They look kind of cool. They look great. Oh. Nike needs some new shoes. And Devin Booker's new signature shoe, really nice. Like, doesn't look like a basketball shoe if you want a new pair of shoes.
I didn't see Devin Booker's, who's in the playoffs with the Suns. He's back.
Great shoe. Also,
what color scheme? Are they Suns colors? Orange?
They're like a sand color. You can get a few. They're really nice. They look good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also, we didn't talk about this last week either. There was all these like reports about another NBA player gambling, and now he's suspended forever. What's his name?
Indefinitely, right?
Indefinitely. Jonte Porter, is that it?
So yeah, he's like a role player, but this is the one, I think we covered it on the show a few weeks ago. This is the one that had illegal activity flagged by this sports betting commission. It's like, this random dude is having all of his over-unders hammered by way too much money, which is your first problem. Like, don't get flagged. This must be happening at a level where they're not getting flagged at all the time, but they got flagged because they're betting too much.
But it's also like DraftKings and all these other whatever sports books, they all have the data, and they're definitely seeing like, why is all this action over here and why are they winning? And they'll probably report it back to the NBA and be like, look, we got some weird action on this specific thing parlayed with this, and it was like a bet of $20,000. So I would look into this, and it's kind of dumb. It's like, you can't do this. I would say never make an account if you're in any professional sports league. Have your friends do it, and just don't involve yourself in it, because you're getting paid a lot more than you could ever win in gambling. You will lose more money than you'll ever make in gambling.
But I don't know the specifics of this suspension. I don't know that this guy had his name on a betting account. It's possible he had his friends or family doing the bets for him.
So this is from Shams. It says the NBA shows that 13 NBA bets Porter made. Total payout was $76,000, resulting in a net winning of $21,000. So he
couldn't even do it himself. Like, he's betting on himself, and he couldn't manipulate it even more than that.
3 of the bets were multi-game parlay bets that included one Raptors game in which Porter bet that the Raptors would lose.
Unbelievable. That's like the dirty shit that you don't want to hear. Like, as sports fans, and like the one thing we have as sports fans is the integrity of the game. And like, we know there's shady stuff happening. We've seen refs of sports and players of sports be proven. We kind of turn our back to that because we don't even want to hear it. I told you before, if there's a scandal going on in the NFL amongst all the officials, tell me in 30 years that it happened in 2024. Don't tell me now, because it's going to really bother me. If you tell me when it's in the past, it's like, oh, that was fine. It happened back then.
Well, also, like, the way he's betting is that since he's a bench player, a lot of people wouldn't notice, right? So I was reading one of them where he said, bet all my unders. He's going to go in, play a minute, and then say, oh, I'm hurt. I got to go back out to the bench.
And he did that recently, right?
Yeah.
That was the last straw that broke the camel's back, was he had something with his eye or something random that was hammered.
You can't do that.
Unders.
It's bad. Just like, guys, don't gamble. Listen to our show. We've been saying this for years. If you need
don't
somebody
street race as an NFL player, don't drink and drive, don't be mean to women in any way. Just clean it up, and you're gonna make it.
Yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money. So just don't do any of it. So yeah, now he's banned, and I think this is good. I think that they needed to ban him indefinitely, like forever. He's banned from the NBA. He can no longer do this.
So he's banned from the NBA. Is he banned from betting? You might need to make some bets to get some money.
I think this man, if a sportsbook was smart, hire this man. Make him the face of your sportsbook.
Don't say that. Don't encourage it, Mike. Don't encourage the youths to do it.
All right. Well, I love gambling. I'm not going to gamble on the draft, but I will gamble on.
I've seen a lot of action on that. Why would you not?
I just don't like it because people already know what's going to happen.
Oh, you don't like soft bets where some people know the result?
Hold on. That is the Super Bowl, and that is a totally different thing. That is up to one performer. I'm betting on like 5 teams what they're going to do. Okay, that is not a soft bet.
You're betting on like GM emotions instead of on the field, and so I get where you'd rather bet on the field.
Yeah, listen, if CTESPN tweets something and tells me that number 1 overall is going to be traded and somebody else will be taking the pick, I'll bet that. But other than that, I'm not betting.
Antonio Brown, maybe breaking the Justin Herbert trade. We'll see.
Who knows? All right, that's it. Go to sportshangover.com. Subscribe to our show. Go on YouTube. Hit subscribe. Please tell friends. The more subscribers we get, the better content we're going to put out. The more subscribers we have, the more reach we have, and it's just going to be good for everybody. So everybody go do that. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week. Who knows? I might be.
Hopefully you'll be here. At some point, the people are going to get an update on what it was like for you to become a father, and that's worth subscribing for right there. You don't want to miss it. It might be next week. It might be in like 4 weeks.
You can do a solo show. You know how to hit record now, so you're good. So you're ready to go.
I'll come by the hospital and mic you up.
Okay, good. All right. See you guys.